So part of that discussion now we get into, we saw in JPM, which is kind of the east coast of the United States, coming across into northern Illinois. So I'm affected by it in the Chicagoland area, but just south of me is the MISO control section, and that's heavily um, IBR, and that's really what we call them, is inverter-based resources. So IBR there. So explain the difference on the population of IBRs in those two sections, and how they have contributed to the impact on cost of electricity for, say, the general homeowner. And by the way, after this, we're going to get into what's happening with some of the new loads. So please go into that a little bit.
PJM and MISO, two neighbors with different flavors. PJM has historically leaned on large baseload, think nuclear and gas, while MISO embraced wind and now solar, those IBRs. Now IBRs, being fuel-free when they run, often lower wholesale costs. In MISO, that's led to lower energy prices at times, especially in windy seasons. But the challenge, MISO also sees more variability. So while IBRs can reduce costs, ensuring reliability means balancing them with flexible resources. PJM, with less IBR, has often had more stable but sometimes higher costs. The future puzzle? Using all tools to keep lights on, and while it's heavy. Now on to those new loads.
Exactly. So when we start looking at this, uh, the emphasis on the eastern portion of the US has been that, oh my gosh, those evil renewables are causing our energy costs to go up. And in reality, the new renewables had been halted several times, so they're not even a player. And we're talking about mainly base loads being in place. So the total energy cost, or the cost per megawatt hour, was driven way up, especially last summer. And in the center part of the US, there was a period, actually, it was the day the new Secretary of Energy was talking about, um, you know, needing more natural gas in the East Coast, uh, and then talking about how IBRs were barely producing anything. Yet, at the exact time he was talking, for that day, in the center of the United States, more than 40% of the energy production was coming from wind. I'll let that sink in for a second. Well, only a few percent was being produced on the East Coast. Now, I know we've seen rises in energy costs upwards of 25%. And we're talking about the direct cost of generation. I'm not talking about the T&D stuff, transmission distribution stuff. And there's another reason for that, and another reason why the cost of power generation is going up. And that has to do with some new large loads, because those loads have to be placed near where we have our internet or fiber hubs within the US, where basically the internet. So now we're going to talk about what's happening with this, with the rapidly increasing number of effectively data centers. So what's happened through the U.S., both on the East Coast. Let's just stick right now with the East Coast and center of the U.S., and we can expand it later.